All right, so it's 10:34 on Monday, 23rd of January, 2023. I'm loading up on caffeine, even though I'm already anxious, tired, whatever, and it's like the addiction's coming back. But no comment. So, yeah, you saw me at the residence in the locker room 2 days in a row working there with I have two people guiding me. Well, guiding me. I'm supposed to be under their tutelage, you know. One who initially I thought was, no, not right. But she adapted to me a bit, especially when the head of school came in and she adapted. And I'm realizing how good that was. I'm dealing now with the person who's been there 24 years and she's extremely. I realized I was calmer yesterday because I was really tired. As you saw, I was haggard as shit. Mixed with extremely terrible lighting in that locker room makes me look extremely haggard. Mixed with white sunscreen that makes me look like a corpse. But the one who I have to deal with on the regular, extremely rigid, takes herself extremely serious, an extremely frustrated person, is what I'm sensing. And extremely damaged, of course. Not to mention, she did slide to me the fact that she has osteoporosis. I'm like, how old are you, bitch? Why the fuck you have? You don't have to be degrading You don't have to let yourself degrade, just like the residents. Work on yourself. But it's like I have that same personality in school with one person who takes herself too seriously, saying she's a hard worker and she gets frustrated when other people don't go up to her demands. Bitch, I don't know how many times you were raped when you were young, but like, don't project that shit onto me. And she's got tattoos too. Like, if you're like in your, I'll say 60s, late 50s, early 60s, maybe or later, I don't know. And you're doing tattoos and you want to do more from one borderline to another. I know you like the pain of that because that helps, there's no reason to do that. Well, there are old people who color their hair orange and purple because they didn't do it when they were younger, so then they get into that crazy mode. I did that when I was in my late teens and early 20s. I'm working on other things to go through my problems, like getting back into a caffeine addiction. But anyways, what I'm realizing now, okay, because added to that, I had to make a call to my CPR internship, if I using quotes, because it's not like the orderly. I'm doing several things at one time, as you can tell, which is overwhelming. But I made the call to someone who I already know has a bigger than life personality. Also, is when you're dealing with so many fucked up personalities and you're already sensitive to that, and I'm already sensitive to that, it's very difficult to get your voice in there. What I do at school is I don't talk anymore, but there's about 5 or 6 people who take up a lot of space. And I realized that after the first week, people are debating with you, and it's like, don't deal with that. And the one who has the big personality who gets frustrated at school, because we did have one sit together, the teacher brought us to sit together, and she pointedly marked that that she gets frustrated, that insinuating that all the trouble was because of her. Could be. But she had come to me in the cafeteria wanting me to get into her circle, and I said I got my other things to do, thank you. I guess because I kind of sensed that, like the first week, um, I felt like there was a competition trying to who knew everything more and stuff. I was like, oh God, I don't want competition. I'm trying to learn. And if I do say something and try to help someone, it's actually to try to help someone, to feel validated by helping someone. And then I kind of just shut down. After that, I realized when people take up too much space, I just kind of take a back seat, which I can't do at the internship for the orderly, is because I got like 8 weeks with her, or maybe 6 left. I don't know. We're on the third week. But with the person of the CPR, which I had a long conversation with, it's like on the phone, it's even more difficult. She just talks and goes right and left, and then I kind of try to interject like what's going on with the reality of it, not what she has in her head, because in her head it's just kind of like it's like it's a records, like when you have mommy dearest, you know what I mean. I've dealt with that, like when I went to LA and we see past videos, and I was, I guess, dating someone, and he would go into these is it an interjection, I think, of a speech that would be like some like a speech that your mother is saying to you, like when she's trying to really put you down, like saying you should be like that, do this, then that. You know what I'm saying? And so those really bother me. But then my goal is to just like kind of take a distance and don't feel that, but kind of try to get my um, real uh, not my real what's really my worries and all that, and try to clarify everything, because then they'll, if not, then they just kind of go into their own record, and they whatever they say doesn't make any sense. It makes sense to them, and then they go off to all these tangents, and it's like, bitch, can you get to the point? And so I'm dealing with a lot of that. I'm dealing with that with the person at the orderly also, orderly internship. But it's a back and forth. Like at least she's coming back at me. She doesn't understand what I'm saying. But it just with her, it's just really bad because I was less anxious yesterday, and I realized that she was getting anxious at everybody, being curt with everybody, and it's like that's not pleasant for me, you know. Despite the fact that there's no encouragement, no vocal encouragement, it's just like it's like, nah, you suck, you really do. Like if I can't get putting on a diaper well because I'm nervous, I don't want to press up against the person. And I'm saying like I still haven't learned that, I need to practice, and then she'll make a comment like, "Oh, you should have learned this a long time ago." It's like, well, fuck you. You know what I mean? Like little things like that is kind of shows me that that's how you're thinking to yourself. You were treated very badly when you were a kid, and you're rebelling now, and you don't like your life. You've been as an orderly for 24 years. What? Fuck, bitch. You were born here, man. You're not like one of the minorities. You know what I mean? Who have a bigger struggle. You're supposed to be um, technically someone who is. Here we call it. Well, I won't say where I'm living, but yeah. Um, if you want to talk in racist terms, a superior, and then how am I going to explain this that people understand? I lost my train of thought. Bad reference. It'll come back to me. But yeah, I mean, in essence, you're privileged. That's what I'm trying to say. You're privileged, and you are in a profession where here it's a lot of people who lost their job, trying to figure out what they're doing in their life. There are a few people who really love doing this. there are reasons why I'm doing this. But as you've seen from these videos, I'm trying to survive, trying to move forward with things, trying to also personal development with dealing with people, helping people, getting organized at the things that I didn't learn when I was a kid because of all the abuse and isolation. And obviously, she went through that too. And it's manifesting itself in really bad ways. And we don't have that tete a tete type conversation, and that's really sad. Um, did I explain myself well? I don't know. So, anyways, suffice it to say, it's really bad. It's really, really bad. And it's really bad with this one for the CPR course. So I'm dealing with a lot of people, a lot of damaged people who take up a lot of space in the sense that they think that their shit don't stink. And it's not an open exchange of information. It's not, there's no encouragement or validation. So I have to validate myself, encourage myself, but it's really difficult. What I do like about working with the elderly and wiping their asses and stuff, there's a lot of things that I thought would be extremely gross. I didn't deal with when someone splats all over the place. Not yet, but I'm dealing with the regular, washing them with the washcloth and then going in the crack of the butt and seeing some doo doo, and I'm calm with that, and I'm doing it, and I'm handling that very well, and I'm starting to feel better, which is the building your confidence on that. But it's not recognized by the person in who I'm shadowing, and that's sad. It's anger provoking too. So I have to really kind of take a distance with her, and I see there are other people who are more helpful. And I'm starting to ask other people instead of asking her because this bitch sucks. She sucks. She's not working on herself. She's stuck. That's the way I see it. Whereas the first person who's the substitute, I thought the same thing initially, but then I saw she adapted. She started to adapt and she started to be a little bit more encouraging when she sees that I'm getting frustrated. And that's good for me to see. I really appreciate that. So I'm starting to see a little more clearer who's more um, consistent in their personality, um, which for me, which is helpful for me. The When we go to the cafeteria, when I'm with the um, substitute supervisor, there's another person who she's friends with, and she's very nice, and she's been very nice from the beginning, but I didn't know because I'm hypervigilant, borderline, you're very hypervigilant, you don't know who to trust, you're waiting for the left foot to drop, or the left shoe to drop, if that's the expression. And no, she's constantly nice, constantly, and I'm like, oh, this might actually be her warm personality, it might actually be real, and I'm starting to be open to that. And something happened. She kept, asking me questions and encouraging me. And I'm like, whoa, this actually might be real. It's really weird for me to see someone who's really genuine like that, not two faced. You know what I mean? So I'm seeing that because I'm pretty vulnerable at this residence because I'm around all these elderly people, and some people just hug me and hold my hands, and I stay with them, and that's actually what I like, is people who are showing love and don't want anything in return except love. I don't have any pets. um, these are people, and then some people I just want to talk. Some people I can understand. Some people I cannot. Some people are in some sort of delusion, but sometimes they come out of it and they're talking real stuff that I understand. So seeing that, oh, say hello, whoever just came here. Um, no, I just lost my train of thought. Yeah, because the floor I'm on is a floor with people with cognitive difficulties, Alzheimer's, um, amongst other things. Maybe remnants of a stroke that affects your cognitive capabilities, um, and some personality disorders, and but I like that part of it. Uh, I feel good about that. But then it's dealing with the other personalities of the staff. But like going back to this person in the who works in the cafeteria, she came up to the floor. She obviously doesn't know anything about the orderlies. She works in the cafeteria doing the food, and she came up, and then one of the persons, people who's she's in her 90s, where she's on watch because her husband, they're the only couple in the room. Her husband tried to strangle her. Her husband's like in his 90s, maybe 100, I don't know, you know. And so we have to watch them every 20 minutes, go in and, but this woman is particularly, that's the Alzheimer's. I'm seeing now that's what Alzheimer's is. Sometimes she'll just constantly come up and saying, when am I going home? Yeah, there's people waiting for me. Everyone stole my money. You did that. You're telling me that we're going to leave and you're being like screaming. And so that's the routine. But then sometimes her real self comes out and she's vulnerable and stuff like that. So I'm seeing that. I'm learning that. But she's very particular. So I haven't watched her yet. I'm a little scared right now. But the person working in the nutrition came up, and she was bringing the cart with all the foods. And then at this time that this person was screaming going into a fit, and it shocked her. So she's obviously not used to it. And it's the floor where everyone has the cognitive difficulties. So that's where that comes out. Not on the other floors. The other floors, people have their capacities. It's just they can't move. Whereas on the floor I'm at, they can move. They're not all in wheelchairs, just a couple. So, anyways, and then so this person comes up again, the person working in the cafeteria, who's very nice and very welcoming, has been like that since day one. So I've known her for about a week. I don't know her name. I got to write that down. She comes up and we started talking right away, but I was sitting next to my supervisor, the one who's really frustrated and it's like, sucks, you know? So she's going over something with me, and then, so we're talking, and then she ends up being curt, my supervisor ends up being curt to her. And I feel bad, and I feel like I'm going to go and talk with the person in the cafeteria and say, I have to excuse myself for her, that she's just really frustrated with life, and she's projecting it onto everyone, and I feel that's really disgusting. I'm not going to tell her because, first of all, I'm trying to keep low key as much as I can, because if I let myself go, borderline, I will read her. Reading means um, it's a gay urban way of saying I will insult the shit of her what she looks like, what she is as a person. I will just crush her, and it's not a good thing to do if you're trying to keep a job, right? I won't try to completely, but that's borderline. Like, if I'm frustrated with someone, I will just, or in the past, less now because I'm more in control of it as I'm seeing. I gotta talk in terms of me, how I feel, not saying like you're an ugly fat bitch with tattoos, so you've been raped when you were younger, and get the fuck out of my face. Of course, I'm thinking it, but I'm able to control it. Because those it's not it's mean it means I'm thinking more with my um, undeveloped brain as opposed to the rational part of the brain. So so I've gotten better at that over the years, controlling my temper, etc. But I have to be with her for 8 weeks. You know what I mean? It's like, so I have to distance myself, and then she'll say like, I see you're doing other things when you're supposed to be listening to me, and I'm like, I don't want to tell her like you're just boring, you're full of shit. Let me practice. You know what I mean? So I have to say, okay, whatever, okay, okay, okay. Or I've said also, oh, well, that's ADHD for you. Oh, yeah, yeah, I see it a lot. I see it a lot. Well, fuck you, bitch. I see a fucking old cynic. Shut the fuck up. Be nice to people for a change. But I hold it back. And it's terrible for me to hold that back. It's really, but I do see the good people working there. So this one working in the cafeteria, I see her that as a really nice person and a good energy. So I had to, that's why I shot the video right now. I feel like I'm going to go find her and explain to her, I'm really sorry for the behavior of my boss. She's a bitch. My boss, the person shadowing me, she's a bitch. She doesn't like her life. I probably won't say it that way, or maybe I will. I'll just say it wasn't very appropriate. Because when she said it to her, she's like, can we? She said something like, let you know how bitches are. It should be like, excuse me, I'm in the middle of talking to him, so can we just go back to that? I'm sorry to interrupt. And then so the cafeteria girl carrying the stuff, the cart with all the food. She just kept going and she didn't say anything, and I felt the weight of that. I felt like, and she probably, I don't know if she probably deals with that, but she probably was kind of shocked dealing with it from here. Um, so I feel I owe her a connection to not let that go. It's funny because I feel like usually I don't bother, but now I feel like I want to forge a relationship. It's weird. That's why I'm doing this video. I feel like the title of this video is "Seeing the Light at the end of the end of the tunnel." I feel like there's some people I can kind of two that I could see right now, maybe more, that I feel I could connect more. Even with the substitute supervisor, I think I will tell her also when I see her, because I'm gonna see her a few more times, because she's replacing the person sometimes for me to shadow, and I'll tell her, I'll say, listen, initially I thought it was really bad, and I did lose kind of. She saw me when I was kind of losing my cool, and say, look, I raised my voice more, didn't go, didn't take a fit, but it was, I was stern. Um, But I feel I should tell her that, look, initially I didn't know how it was. I thought a certain thing, and then I had to deal with the other person who initially I thought was better, more rational, more calm, but I only met her for an hour. Now that I'm working with her, I see that it's no, fuck, you know, I want to go back to the other one. So I feel I should at least point that out to people and tell them. And then there's another person who was on vacation for a week and she comes back and she's always and she's closer with the one who is the substitute orderly who helped, It's like I see who she's hanging out with and I see that, okay, if she's hanging out with her that has a good personality and she's also friends with the person in the cafeteria, can't always be prejudiced and saying like if you're this and you're hanging around this and you're probably like that too. But I see it. Okay, these are the people who I will be more vulnerable with, and because I see that it's more appreciated, and be more closed off to this bitch who's working. I'm shadowing now. So that's three people. The one who was on vacation and came back, I didn't elaborate. She's always in a happy mood. Um, yeah, she's older. Um, but it's someone like she even helped me like when I was trying to like when you're working on a floor, you know when to put on your gloves. You take off your gloves. You don't have them in the hallway. You wash your like the order of washing hands, like disinfecting them, not touching doorknobs. How do I do it when I'm carrying a big soiled bag of shit laden diapers and I have two hands that are uh, gloved, but I have to punch in the code to get into the room to throw it into the bin. with the other soiled diapers in bags, but not touch the handle with my. So the good natured woman was next to me. My supervisor wasn't because she's on her own. Fuck that bitch. But I remember I was showed once. But when you're stressed, you lose capability, and so like she's saying is like I can't retain information. It's like no, your fucking anxiety makes me anxious, and I can't. Just. So I'm like, oh yeah, I'm gonna take one off, and then I can touch the handle and have the other hand with the glove holding the shit laden bag. And then so the good natured woman, she says, yes, that's the way to do it. That's it. That's all you have to do. Just encourage, just like that. It's like, oh, okay. The positive reinforcement. What the bitch does, the one who's supervising me, she'll be passive aggressive. She'll say like yesterday when you have to find out about each patient. You go into their room and you look at the back of the door and they have a pictogram. How many orderlies need to help them? One or two? Can they go to the bathroom alone? Whatever. And so now I'm still learning that. And so I'm like, so she says to me, go look how many people that they need to help him. This certain person who's in a wheelchair. Right now, I'm stressed because I'm not thinking about some of the logic. If this says this, then, although when I'm calm, that's how it works. But I go back and I say, there's no sticker saying how he goes to the bathroom. How many people help him, you know? And so instead of saying, well, it's two, she said, like, well, if you look at the pictogram and you can make the inference from this, you look at this, so you should logically think that, if, and I'll just interject, if you had half a brain and stuff like that. I'm like, really, bitch? Fuck, if you want pain, do you want me to cut you to relieve your pain? Fucking bitch. You know what I mean? So it's like, I have to calm down and like these little microaggressions towards me, I have to distance myself from them and realize she's not an empathetic person. She's she she's going through motions and she's been doing it for 24 years. And so that's kind of where I'm at. But to see the good people, and something else that happened yesterday, there's this one lady, Italian lady, she speaks English and French. Where I'm working. Oh, two people. Hello, say hi. Um, it's a French facility, so you have to speak French. But this woman alternates, and then sometimes she'll just take my hand. She's in the wheelchair. She was. I don't know if you listened to a few other videos. She's the one that tried to kick another guy in the wheelchair, saying he's a piece of shit. He's da 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 da. And usually they have to be separated. But yesterday I was sitting, doing surveillance of all the people sitting down in the early afternoon, mid afternoon, and I'm talking to the Italian lady, or she's talking to me. We're having discussion, and sometimes she just talks. It's like not a conspiracy theory type thing, but on that floor, like some people go into these stories. So I'm just listening. But the guy who she always raises her voice with, comes in, is like right next to me. I'm like, when's she gonna notice him and then start screaming and start trying to kick and whatever? But it went a long time without that, and then he started getting closer and started talking to me, and then I saw it was starting, but it didn't escalate. And he kind of likes me. This guy, although he mumbles most of the time and I can't understand him, but throughout that, within that, there's a few things that I can understand. And at one time, I was passing by him, and he says, "You're pretty solid." I was like, "Oh, you just gave me a compliment." I say, "Thank you. I try." This is a man on a wheelchair. So So I have to. I like listening for the things I can understand and trying to understand the people. That's what I like to do. You know. So I was sitting down watching everybody, and this Italian lady was talking to me, and he was there trying to talk, and then she was saying things that were probably not true because they're not friends. They're like sometimes they'll just say things, you know. And then he's saying things, but I'm just kind of like there and just trying to talk to both of them, and it didn't escalate, and they were still both there. Um, so I think that was a win. Learning how to deal with the situations, not just treating people as objects and just pushing them out of the way, which a lot of the people working there do, because I guess they're fed up. I don't know. Or they have a quota, you know, you have to do so many clients before you, within your shift, you have a time frame, and it's like, ugh. But not everyone's like that. There's a few who are different. They're not jaded and stuff like that. So, oh, welcome back. Oh, thank you for the like. I appreciate that. This is the first time I'm actually blabbing. Usually my maybe it's the caffeine. I don't know, but yeah, that's it. I'm gonna finish doing a little bit of reading for the online course for the orderly course tomorrow. Keeping up with the online stuff there. Go work out, go to Walmart, get some a chest of three people on here. This is amazing. I've never seen three people here on a live at the same time. Say hi. But yeah, I bought chest of drawers. Like you know, at Walmart, you buy these plastic drawers, and I hide them behind these mirrors. Like I'm learning how to organize my place, which is a reflection of my mental state, which is very chaotic. If you've seen my videos, I just kind of ramble, or some things sound very incoherent, and I understand that. This whole channel is stream of consciousness for me. I understand some people don't understand how I think, um, but I'm gonna buy some more chest of drawers to organize products that I stock up on that I need because I can't always go out buying stuff, especially since my life with this orderly course and my energy levels because of that. It's very like everything has to be hyper organized. So this orderly course, working there, that's the thing. You have to be organized too. Um, don't get me wrong. I'm hyper organized, but in my home environment, it's a clusterfuck, and it always has been because my parents were like that, and I've been trying to fight that, and no one understands it. But it's up to me to deal with that and distance myself from people who don't have the openness to understand me, to just give blatant remarks like, oh, well, just do that. Just do that. Just do that. Change that. Raise your self esteem. Just do, you know, fuck you. Fuck you, bitch. Erase your tattoos because I see that you're a fucking cutter. I don't say that. I think it, you know. Not everyone who has tattoos is a cutter. Um, but there's a lot of cutters who do the tattoos, um, from what I understand. And, you know, I'm shutting up now. So that's that. Thank you for watching. Please comment. I don't know, it's weird because I've never tried to do a community here. I'm just talking. I want people to kind of relate to it, but it's very difficult for me to. In this, I think this video is the most I've ever explained it because I see where I'm doing this internship that there's some people I feel I can get closer to, and that was always my main goal to kind of create attachments with people and create a community and build from there. When you have abandonment anxiety and you don't want to get close to people and you see people who say things and you take it wrongly and you distance yourself, which is what I'm doing, but then who do I get close to? So it's nice that there's at least three people listening. Comment. Um, I don't know how I'll feel later. Maybe it's the caffeine that kind of allows me to feel that, to see clearly some things that are actually some little cracks of light that I see positivity in. But yeah, bye.